identity and loss of culture is a big one. I think plays a big part. I think without your culture and your identity, like you don't know who you are, like a loss of sense of belonging. But if we can't fix it now, then I think it's going to be 100 times more worse for our future generations to come. Like our people will just continue to be statistics.
Yeah, so some of the most empowering moments of my youth and my childhood were when I had one or two role models, like family members, like uncles and older brothers that used to take us out onto our country to go fishing, to go hunting, or just to get out of town, out of the rush of town and the society that we're surrounded by, like social media. Yeah, getting out there, I guess, is a good way to clear your head, especially when you go out with people that know a bit about their country. So role models that have that sort of experience and they've been taught from somebody else before them, and they pass that down, and that is like empowerment for us, because we know that along the line we're going to have to pass that down, and it's going to be our duty to keep up with those practices, those cultural practices.
You know, there's a lack of belonging, or lack of purpose, lack of meaning, I guess. You know, everyone asks themselves at some point, like, what am I doing here, or what am I supposed to be doing tomorrow, or what's my pathway, where am I going to? And that's where that lack of connection to culture or country really gets to kids, really gets to people. Because if you understand who you are, where you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be, where you sit in your family or in your community, then you just automatically you get a sense of purpose.
I was 2.5 when my mum and dad was living back there again. I was the baby, and then pushed back onto the Aboriginal Reserve again, and then my family were moved, first forced off there.
So dingoes are still here. We have another art gallery at the back a bit further, and you know, I haven't been out there for a few months, but every time I go out there I see paw marks of like dingo, where dingoes come in and lay under it and sleep through the night. Bigfoot? Right, well that's him up there. Now we firmly believe in him. You know, whether he's still around now is a different story altogether, but you know, I've heard my uncles and my dads talk about it back when they were kids, so you know, he obviously did exist. As a kid, if you know, back in the day, if one of our little woodjackers, like our kids, seemed this, they would run to it straight away, because it was like it's like candy or lolly. It's got that sweetness about it. So. I reckon we'll have plenty enough.
but a really good sweet fruit. It's called Exocarpus capriciformis, and what it does, it's a saprophytic plant. What it does is go down and put the roots attached to the roots of another host plant. And there might be days before the fish will actually move, and they'll hide on the reef or the rocks. Because they're all in big schools, they're easy targets for sharks and other things that eat them. And then once they spawn, lay their eggs, and then they move and go back into the rivers and lakes and just on their own in smaller groups. I'll talk about and show you some of these. The idea is that you have a look at it, you find your own. We find that overseas, everybody wants to hear our stories from the oldest culture. Here, nobody wants to know. Things got so bad in Ulladulla, grandfather built a boat and he sailed up. He was the first person to start the community at Wreck Bay, which is now the Wreck Bay Aboriginal Corporational Community.
So it amazes me when I do that. I sit up there and I can almost sometimes visualise them sitting down here, my ancestors. It's something about walking in here in the same area that for thousands and thousands of years, and I go, my direct bloodline done the same thing. It just totally blows me away. To have knowledge of a family that goes back that long is an amazing thing.